Hey, today we're doing a Grace Note interview with our teacher, Aunika. This is Aunika. Aunika, say hi. My name's
Hello.
Isaac. I do a lot of the office stuff, and I'm also a guitar teacher, and I write your newsletters, so please read your newsletters because I like making the newsletters. And we put a lot of important stuff in there. And you'll also see our teachers' performance dates, and their Aunika's performing, so you'll see Aunika's performing dates in there too. Did you take lessons growing up?
No, actually,
No.
I didn't take any lessons until I went to college.
So, like, what was music for you growing up? Because you didn't take lessons. Was it just like you just listened to things and you would sing it, or you would just try to pick stuff up, or what was that like?
Yeah, when I was younger, like in elementary school, it was more just like I would listen to songs and I would really like them. And then I had like this whole thing where I would like kind of like make up like nonsense songs in my room. And that was until I actually started when they finally started offering music for me in school. I started off as a
Oh,
percussion.
very cool. What'd you play?
So I mostly did xylophone, and but they also taught me a little bit of snare drum. I don't claim to
You,
be good at
you,
percussion, but
you look. I can see the xylophone.
yeah.
Yeah,
hmm
the shirt's giving
Yeah,
xylophone.
there's a video of me on Facebook somewhere of me like playing drum set to like this
Nice.
random song I don't even remember the name of, but my music teacher had like given it to me. And yeah, but then after that, I had moved because I originally lived in Modesto when I was growing up until I was like 10.
Hmm.
And then I moved to the Fresno area to Madera when I was in 5th grade, 6th grade, and that's when they were like, "We have no spots in percussion for you, but we actually have a choir." And I didn't have
Oh,
choir at my other middle school, so
sick.
then I kind of just like jumped ship and like went on from that
That's
point.
probably what you wanted to do in the
Mhm.
first place.
Yeah, I was
That
like, that's
made
what I
more
like
sense.
more,
Yeah,
anyways.
you're
So
making up songs. My
yeah.
sister used to do that. She used to like sing. She sang a song about CBS one time when she was like three.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
Mhm.
Were you like, kind
Yeah,
of
it
thing?
was always just nonsense. But my mom would always like try to like listen at the door and see if she could like hear what I was doing, and I'd be like, "Mom, go away! You're embarrassing me." It was like that whole thing.
What is performing like for you now? Like as a kid, you're like, I don't want anyone to hear me sing or anything. But like as you grow up and you're like doing the whole music thing, how does that change the more you do it?
I think I don't have the same like embarrassment to people hearing me and stuff, but definitely like when I'm practicing, I do like to be alone and be able to like center and just kind of like focus on things without like an external, like unless I'm like asking for that, like
Yeah,
that
like the
feedback.
feedback. Yeah,
Yeah. hmm
that's cool. So when you're practicing, because I know you've been auditioning for a bunch of stuff and
Mhm.
you've been doing all these other things, and you just won a competition, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
I did. I actually drove back up to, well, not basically kind of my hometown. So
yeah.
I drove up to Modesto where they have a competition every year called the Christina Townsend Memorial Vocal Competition. And it kind of ties in with their opera company in Modesto called Opera
Very
Modesto.
cool.
And so I competed in the upper division and actually won first place. That was really,
No
really
way.
cool. They received me really super well, and they offered me to join one of their things. Unfortunately, I couldn't because of scheduling, but I put it in their minds of like, "Oh, I'm really open to like doing something in the future, so fingers crossed."
Yeah. So how do you prepare for auditions and like performances, and then how do you get your students to prepare for like the recitals that we do?
Yeah, okay. So when it comes to me, it really depends on the person, is what I'll like be really clear
Yeah.
about. Is that there's no like one size fits all for like practicing preparation, but there are different tools that I give myself and my kids. And for me, it's more because I'm learning advanced repertoire. So I'm learning arias and operas in different languages and things like that. And so what I have to do is basically kind of, how do I explain? Is get the aria and understand like what it is, what I'm singing about, and understand it in
Oh.
context of the opera itself.
Hmm.
And that's something that I really try to do with my students as well, even though that they're not doing something like parts of a larger work. Um, and but if they're doing musicals, then yes, it does apply.
Hmm.
And something that I'll do for them and be like, what are you singing about? That's very important. I was like, if you don't know the words you're singing, then you're not going to have a performance, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense. So that's one thing that I always kind of stress to them. Be like, what does this, even if it's just like a pop song or something really accessible, I'm like, what does this song mean to you, and how are you going to interpret that on the
Mhm.
stage? It's like the most important.
Music is very contextual. Like you have
Right.
to understand it in the ways the artist is making it, the way the artist is performing it, and then just like the time it's written into. A lot of
Right.
I feel like a lot of music comes from like people and
Mhm.
like the struggles and histories that they lived through,
Yeah.
right? So it's like you do have to kind of understand that because music isn't just like a science, but it's like a feeling science. I don't know how to explain it.
It's a science and an art somehow at the
Yeah,
same
it's like
time.
both. It's like
Mhm.
math. It's
Yeah.
music's math. Music
Music is
is math.
math.
It
Yeah.
really is math.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so other things is like making sure that I'm super prepared and super memorized, that I can sing it front to back and just like replay it in my head, called audiation.
Yeah.
So, and I actually kind of tell my students, like, yes, you should be singing every day and you should be practicing every day, but there is a certain amount of time of practice that's healthy. I kind of talk
Mhm.
about that a lot with my adult students
Yeah.
that really like to just like hammer through and sometimes get themselves frustrated.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's a certain level of healthy singing that is okay for singers specifically, where instrumentalists, like, I kind of hear that they can go on for hours and hours and hours. Whether
Yeah.
that's healthy for the body, I don't know. Probably
It
not.
I think it depends on the instrument. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if I'm hunched over a guitar, my back will hurt,
Your
but
back's gonna hurt.
I also am like whatever about it. But it makes sense for vocal or for singers because you're you're using your voice every day,
Right.
regardless if you're singing or not.
Mhm.
So it does make sense to why you'd want to like
Yeah.
practice it. I mean, for anything you want to practice at healthy pace.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I would say like an hour, and then make sure you
yeah,
take breaks and make sure you stay hydrated
yeah.
and make sure you eat. It's like all of that is very important to maintaining your instrument. In terms of memorization, the way that I go about that is that, and I don't know if this works for everybody. I know one of my friends loves to make flashcards. Like that is like her thing.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, that's an extra task that I
You're
can't
like, I don't want to
I
deal.
can't
I don't want to
achieve.
deal with the
But
flashcards.
I do recommend it to some of my students if they are really struggling.
Mhm.
I'm like, if this is something that is hard for you, this is a tool that you can use.
Yeah.
For me, I love to go just like line by line and like phrase by
Mm.
phrase and
That's how
just
I practice too.
and
Yeah.
just like once I get, and it's kind of like an additive process
Yeah.
where I'll like, or sometimes I'll start from the beginning and sometimes I'll go back to front. It just really depends on the piece. But once I get a certain section very well, and then I just kind of start
You
adding.
kind of chunk it out.
Yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
chunk it out, and then eventually I get to a point where I can go start to finish, like singing and also just like mentally in my head
Mhm.
as well. And once I get to that point, take a nap.
EP time.
Yeah,
Get the
because
season.
yeah, so I don't know if you know this, but
I was talking to Catherine about this.
were you
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when you sleep, your body maintains memory better.
Yeah.
So if you do a lot of like, if you're studying for a math test, for example,
Yeah.
and then you get to a point where you're like, I feel really good about this, and then you go to bed, or if you take a nap, you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be more likely to remember
Yeah.
what you
It,
just did.
especially if you're doing it right when you wake up.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yep. So those are the things that I tell my students. I'm just like, do a whole bunch of work and then take a nap. I'm
Yeah.
so serious, and they look at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like, no, I'm serious. I'll send you the articles. Like it's
You're like,
it's
I
science.
have the
I'm
links, guys.
telling
I have
you.
the links.
Yeah, I have the links
I have the backup.
on
She
stack.
said
Yeah,
cite my, or they said cite my source.
I will cite my
They
sources.
said
Yes.
cite my source. Yeah. So when you're preparing students for, and this is just for like singers in general, what are
Mhm.
like some common issues that singers typically run into, and then what are some very, not very simple, but just like common fixes to those simple issues?
So again, with this question, it's very person to person basis. Like everybody's voice is different.
Mhm.
So everybody's gonna have different struggles and different tools that are gonna work for them.
Yeah.
And so that's why I don't like micromanage plan my lessons. I kind of like listen and respond to the singer, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. But in general, there are, depending on age too, because there's things that happen
Mhm.
developmentally through, growing up and stuff. But if I'm going to talk about like adolescence and beyond, there's two ways basically that the voice can struggle, and it has to do with how you manage your registers. And it's also different based off of like tenor bass voices and soprano, mezzo soprano, alto voices. So it really
Again, it's
depends
like
there
depends on
too.
the person.
It depends on the
Yeah.
person, depends on what size your larynx is. So that makes sense. So with my sopranos, it comes down to two things. either their dominant mode or their chest voice mode is too strong and they hike that up and then it gets real shouty,
Mm,
or they have excess breath in the tone and then it just causes them to have kind of a fuzzy or not clear tone. And kind of teaching them how to balance those is how I really go about teaching the voice and showing them that they can use both of their registers in a way that's strong.
yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So not in a way that's aggressively shouting, but not in a way that
You want like a
and then
strong
lets
voice,
go.
but it's not breathy kind of thing.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, with tenors and basses, it can be challenging only because their passaggio or like break section of their voice is way smaller in comparison to soprano altos. So
Oh.
sopranos will be like basically the whole treble staff is like some sort of mix, if that makes sense.
Mm.
And with tenors and basses, it's like an interval of like a tritone or a perfect fourth, where it's like and all
Oh.
of those changes happen all at
That's so
once.
crazy.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting how that works. And so teaching tenors and basses how to navigate through that and which vowels are gonna have a turn or a tilt in which place. So
Oh, that's pretty
yeah.
cool.
Mhm.
That's super interesting how it's just like again, it's like scientific. Like, it's
Yeah,
all really
no,
just like
my brain,
science.
I sound so nerdy and I'm like, yeah, but
Yeah.
I get really into it.
But I think that's the nice thing about like one-on-one lessons, which I
Yes.
wish I had growing up, even if I wasn't a singer, but it's it's so helpful to have that person there that can like understand what you're dealing with specifically and how to like fix those issues or like get you to a place where you can learn it in a way that makes sense for you. You know?
Right. And as a kid I would have loved, because before you hit like the pubescent age, it can be really hard to get a grasp of these things because your voice is not fully locked in together.
Yeah.
And so that's why a lot of teachers are like, it can be better like if you're wanting to like pursue a degree in music to
Mhm.
kind of start those lessons a little bit later, like maybe
Yeah.
late teens, early adulthood. But I do think that being in lessons as a kid can be so beneficial because they really learn fundamentals.
Yeah, you build
Hmm.
good habits. I feel like a lot of times I've had to relearn a lot of bad habits that I had, or unlearn a lot of bad habits I had.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like if I would have done it right the first time, it would have just been a habit I already know how to do. Yeah.
Yeah, because like as my students, like they're learning scales, they're learning solfege, they're learning the difference between intervals,
Mhm.
they're learning how to maintain a rhythmic pulse in their
Yeah.
body. And that's something that doesn't come naturally for everyone. So learning that young can set you up to get things easier when your voice is locked together and
Yeah.
you're able to sing more advanced repertoire, you know?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
You had an audition in Chicago, and you had to fly out show for that audition, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. We have to. Can we talk about your audition?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
of course. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're
I was just making sure.
no, it's totally fine. So,
But
um,
but the thing is, like, you had to take a risk to go out there and like do that thing, right? Like, it's like
yes,
you're auditioning for something. It's not even like you're getting paid to go out there and do it, right? So
right,
like how
yeah.
important do you think it is for like students and just other like performers in general to take risks where it's like you're not like monetary risk, but like putting yourself out there in a way that you're not comfortable doing, just like uncomfortable like music styles kind of thing.
I think that putting yourself out there in terms of style and genres you're not typically like comfortable with can be really, really beneficial because it'll teach you something about your voice that maybe you didn't know before.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
yeah.
Because it's like,
You're using your voice. You're using different parts of your voice for different styles, right?
right,
Yeah.
exactly. But the thing about singing is that the main function is the same, you know?
Mm,
And that's why personally I'm able to sing all these different styles, is because I have access to my whole instrument. Does that make
yeah.
sense? And so, like, in terms of like singing opera and then going and then singing musical theater and singing jazz, singing alternative styles, singing contemporary styles, it's because you have connection to what the baseline of your voice can do and then learning how to put those styles on top of the basic technique.
Yeah.
Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
that's really
Hmm.
interesting. That makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
Hmm.
Are there certain styles that you gravitate towards or lean to that not just because like it's great for your voice, but you just enjoy it?
Um, yeah, I really do like singing pop music. And
Yeah.
I really do like singing alternative, like Paramore.
That's why I'm with
Um,
guitar. Like
yeah,
that's what I like to play.
yeah, yeah. I really love Lady Gaga's voice. I think she
Oh
suits me really
yeah.
well. I love singing things by Adele. But I also really love R&B. Like I love singing to
Hmm.
like Kehlani in the car and other what's it called, other artists in that genre as well, because I just really think that it's like in a place that's like really comfy and accessible for my voice personally. And then I like to be able to like practice and like do runs because that's not something that I do every
Oh,
day.
yeah.
So yeah,
That's really interesting.
yeah,
Yeah. I love music.
me
So
too.
much of it.
hmm
There's so much. What are you listening to right now? What's on like repeat for you?
Well, right now it's Darvin Hansen because of
That's
the
right.
show that
So,
I'm in.
yeah.
I was also really, really into listening to the Tick Tick Boom soundtrack.
Yeah. It's kind of fire. It's kind of fire.
No, it's really,
There's like
really
3 or
good.
4 songs that they're just like on repeat sometimes.
Yeah, and in
Yeah.
the bonus track, I don't know if you've
There's a
heard.
bonus track? Oh,
Yes.
I didn't know.
So there's a Come to Your Senses version by Jasmine Sullivan, I think the name is, but she does it in like an R&B style.
Oh, that's sick.
And it is so. I'll have to play it for you
Yeah.
like when we're all done here because
Yeah.
it is just so
That's
like
actually kind of dope.
everything about
I
it
didn't
is
know
so
that more.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer singing that one to the original one that's in the show.
That's
Like
fair.
that's how much.
Wait,
I
which
like
one is it?
it. Do you want me to like?
I honestly don't know which one it is. I think I forgot.
Oh, the
I
one.
mean, you could sing, or you could just like.
Oh, the one that's like you're on the edge, I'm
yeah.
underground.
Yeah.
But then when she does it, she's like signals fading.
Hashtag vocal icon.
Can't be found. And she just like does like all of this. It is so thank
That's
you.
fire.
Yeah, no, it's really, really cool and really fun. Yeah.
So you've been talking a lot about Dear Evan Hansen, right? It's one of the things
Yes.
you're preparing for.
Mhm.
When is it?
So it's gonna open in May. So May 9th is the opening
Gonna
day.
be May.
It's gonna be May. Yeah. So May 9th, May 10th. May 10th is a 2-show day. And then we pause and then we do May 14, 15, 16, 17.
And where is it at?
It's at Warner's Theater. It's in Fresno.
Okay, very cool.
So, and I have all the information. Tickets are already on sale. So that stuff will be available to everyone very soon.
Cool. Awesome.
Mm.
Nice. How are you feeling? Are you excited for it?
Oh,
What are you playing? Who are you playing?
So I will be playing Alana. So she's one of the school, one of the teenagers, and she basically, if you guys know the show at all, it's like it's totally okay. But she plays a big role in kind of moving this thing called the Connor Project, and not to give spoilers away, but so her character is integral to basically how the plot moves and all of those things.
Very
So
cool.
yeah, it's
Very
really exciting.
integral to the play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Should I do an intro? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're with our teacher Aunika. Today we're going to do a teacher interview. Let's get right to it.
How's that?
No.
So good.
Okay.